Alright YouTube, today it's just going to be painting video, and the job I've got in here is a Golf GTi, and it's in for a new wing to be painted, repair and paint the bumper. Bumper was just scuffed on the corner from where the wing had been impacted a little bit, and then we've just done all the stone chips like normal and 2-pack primed it like normal. A new mirror caps, it's got a complete new mirror to go on, and then it had a couple of little blemishes in the doors. This is just blend panel, but there's a tiny little ding on the end and a little ding there. The mirror got smashed off. To be honest with you, we've left the wing on at the moment. All it is a little bit creased through there and a little bit misshaped, but it's all really good and would easily be repairable, that wing. But they're pretty reasonable, the price of them. About 150 quid for the wing, genuine. They're not worth messing about with, to be honest with you. Trying to straighten it all out, and in this insurance job anyway, so they've approved a new wing on it. So yeah, that's what it is on this job. Wet on wet in the new wing, and I'll chuck a coat of wet on wet over the bumper, F37, and then base coat of lacquer like normal. And I'm going to be using the CC14 clear coat on this. Sort of playing about a little bit with the clears at the moment. I've been putting less thinners in, the clears that need thinners in. So the clears that I currently use at the moment, 4 of them at the moment. So CX2, CX4, which are the fast dry ones, they don't have any thinners in them. CC9 has up to 5%, and so does the CC14 have up to 5%. So yeah, what I've been doing it with the CC9. So I find if your paint and your clear or whatever's cold, you're sort of tempted to over thin it a little bit, to thin it out, obviously, because it's colder than in the summer months in this country. But I find over thinning it or putting more thinners in it, because it's thicker where it's cold, it's so susceptible for running and flowing out afterwards, and it seems to me it doesn't help the finish at all, because you put it on there, you think you haven't got enough on there because the finish doesn't look flat enough, so you end up naturally trying to put some more on there, and then all of a sudden you've got all fat edges, dribbles off of feature lines and all sorts of stuff. So I'm reducing the amount of thinners and just trying to get the paint to a better temperature is a better option. It retains the gloss better, than trying to thin it out a bit more because it's cold. With the CC14 and the CC9, it's 5% thinner. On the computer, you can set the percentage of thinner that you want. So I've been setting it at 3%, and then bumping my pressure up. So I've been clear coating at like 2.1 bar, which I'm normally 1.9 to 2 bar. But I've been going like 2.1, and it's sort of teetering on 2.2 bar, so bumping the pressure up and warming the paint a little bit, but putting less thinners in it, and it seems to be working. I'm happy with the results. So yeah, so CC14 to go on this, and that's what I'll be doing. I haven't done it with 3% thinners in that. I'm loving that clear, even though it's milky and it can throw you looking milky. I haven't had any issues with it changing colour on blend panels or anything like that. So yeah, be CC14 on this. Water base would be the HVLP 5500 HVLP with a 1.2i setup, and I'll be putting the clear coat on with my 1.20 setup RP. While the wet on wet's drying, I'll mix the colour up. I've already sorted the colour out. This colour, C9X, Volkswagen C9X, quite an old colour. Deep black pearl it's called. There's loads of shades. It can be a troublesome colour, this one. I've got about 15 shades on the system, about 5 or 6 colour chips. They either look too light, too dark, not red enough. The effect doesn't look right. There's such a variety in the ingredients on all the formulas. I've had to spend a bit of time working out which way I need to go, and I've had to do a correction with the camera, and fingers crossed it's going to be okay. I think I'm not spraying it out beforehand, but we'll soon find out, won't we? But I'm going to take the gamble anyway. Using the dark wet on wet saves you on base coat as well. So yeah, I always try to get the right colour primers and wet on wets on there. Base coat's probably the most expensive out of all your paint products. The colours are the most expensive, so always trying to minimise the amount of colour I need to use by using cheaper products like the primers, getting them in the right colours, and the wet on wet, getting the undercoats right. You're definitely going to use less base coat. So yeah, be a dark grey going on this because Mipa F37, they do dark grey and light grey, so full dark grey on it. 2.5 coats of base coat and then 2 coats of clear coat.
Alright YouTubes, how are we all doing? I hope you're all well. The footage of this job is from quite a while ago, so I'm quite behind with making videos. Just haven't had a chance to edit stuff and get videos out really, so yeah, I'm sort of going to make this video about the clear coat that I used on this job. So this was at the early stages of trying this new clear coat out. It's Mipa CC14, the fixed tropic clear coat, and yeah, I've used it quite a bit more since this video, and yeah, the results I'm getting with it are fantastic. I've been playing about with it, with the thinners in it, and yeah, experimenting with it, with pressures and the amount of thinners that goes into it. So it's from 0 to 5% they recommend, and I've sort of found the sweet spot with it now, which is 4% thinners. But yeah, the clear coat on this job, the Mipa CC14, I'm quite a heavy painter, so I'm always inclined for getting build up on edges. All clear coats, they all behave slightly differently, and you have to adjust to it, and you know, set your gun up slightly different depending on the clear coat you're using. Like I say, I'm a heavy painter. I always put a decent amount of product on my jobs, which sometimes could be detrimental to the job sometimes. With build up on edges, and with, you know, some stuff that may not have got stripped, you always run the risk of you know, having a build up between something that's been tightly masked and stuff like that. So yeah, this new clear coat from Mipa, this fixed tropic, I think there are other fixed tropic type clear coats out there, but the stability of it is unreal. And I can lay down, you know, a nice amount of product down, and it just doesn't build up on edges. It's pretty amazing really, the way it doesn't build up on edges. And I haven't pushed it to the point of it running yet, but I am quite susceptible to getting the odd run here and there. It's quite a common theme in my career of getting runs. I'm really good at getting runs out, to be fair. That's, you know, I've had a lot of experience of having runs. But yeah, this clear coat, it almost eliminates it. You will get it to run if you know, you can get any product to run eventually, but this stuff's really resistant to it, which is great if you know, you want to put high film builds on, and you know, you want more product on a job. That's sort of what it's designed for. So yeah, I haven't really got any complaints with it at the moment. Like I say, it's not the fastest drying clear coat. It does dry really well, but it does need a proper bake really. It can stay a little bit soft if it's just air dried in this country, you know, with our cold weather and stuff. So yeah, it does need a proper bake cycle, you know, 30 minutes at 60 degrees. But it's really resistant to solvent popping as well, which is good, especially, you know, if you put it on bake a bit too quick, or you know, you trap a bit of solvent in there. Some, you know, high solid clear coats are susceptible to popping, and you normally find the solvent pop up will happen on the build up on the edges. You know, you look at factory paint and you can see build up on edges, you know, edges between edge of a wing and an edge of a door, where those two panels meet, is quite a common place for a build up. And when you prep panels, you can see the little natural build up of of paint on the edge when you're prepping for blending and stuff like that. So I try to flat them out on a blend panel, obviously without breaking through. So yeah, this clear coat eliminates that. I haven't had any build up on edges, and where it doesn't build up and it's so stable, yeah, it doesn't solvent pop neither. So if you are, you know, a painter that struggles a bit with build ups on edges and for getting runs, yeah, I highly recommend this type of clear coat. Like I say, I think there are other manufacturers of the fixed tropic type clear coats. I've never really heard about it until Mipa bought this one out, and obviously being on Mipa and all my jobs of Mipa products from start to finish, yeah, I thought I'd give it a go. But yeah, like I say, I highly recommend it, you know, for those types of situations. Because sometimes, you know, you can put clear coat on and you might not get the desired finish that you want. You know, you may want it a bit wetter, and you try to get that better finish, that better orange peel, that thicker orange peel, and you'll get the finish that you want. But then, you know, the downside to it is you may have build up on edges and stuff like that, or it may start to creep off of feature lines. Again, another situation would be some feature lines on cars are sharp, and again some shapes on panels again are susceptible to running easily. So, you know, on some panels, I don't know if I can give you an example, like a Volkswagen Transporter, the top feature line on those panels is a real easy place to run. There's some panels on some cars, if you're painting cars all the time, you'll know, oh, that's a bit of a prone area for getting a bit of a run to come off of. So you sort of have to maybe keep something a bit lighter in a certain area on a panel sometimes, and you know, you're not maybe going to get the desired finish that you want then, because you know you've had experience of it running in that area before on a similar panel, or that same panel on a different vehicle. Yeah, it gives you a bit more confidence to put the paint down a bit wetter, which I like, because yeah, I do put the paint down fairly wet. I do like my clear coats to be wet. I'm always trying to match that original finish, you know, and yeah, like I say, you can get the desired finish that you want sometimes with clear coats, but if you put a bit too much on, yeah, you get those fat edges. It seems to be more with, you know, with the high solid stuff, because high solid paints, they're there for you to get more film build with less material, you know, so it can be a bit trickier with a high solid clear coats to get the desired finish that you want without it building up and running. They can be a bit trickier, you know. Again, you know, more modern spray guns, they're geared up to break down these high solid products. They are more difficult to put down high solid clear coats and stuff than the older the MS ones. You can wet up the MS stuff. You may have to put more product on, but you're using more product, you know, with the older type clears and stuff, with the MS stuff, and the whole point of it is, isn't it, with high solid products, is it's all legislation stuff, environmental stuff. So your transfer rates, it's more efficient. You know, you're getting more product on without putting too much paint on. So putting less paint on is better for the environment. You know, that's sort of why they're there, really, for speed and for efficiency. You're not in the booth so long. You'll get in the more film build with less material, so you're saving on materials as well. So you know, that's the whole thing behind high solid products: speed, efficiency, using less paint, putting less paint into the environment. But yeah, like I say, the downside to that is they can be a bit harder to break to break up, and I find that they are more susceptible to running. So maybe that's, you know, one reason you know, why products like this fixed tropic clear coat have come out, to, you know, reduce that risk of running, having defects with, you know, like I say, with build up on edges, and the solvent pop inside of it as well. One thing as well with some of the high solid clear coats, they're not, some of them are not great for drying. So, you know, if you're in an environment where you haven't got, you know, a facility to bake, they can stay soft for a long time, which can cause lots of other issues with when you do flat and polishing, with flattening marks coming back, and being attacked by, you know, extreme conditions. I've had it myself, where stuff I thought was dry and then frost got to it and it kills off the clear coat and all stuff like that. So stuff has moved on a little bit now. Some of these high solid clear coats now, that the quick dry technology has definitely moved on. You know, you normally, you would find with some of the quick dry stuff, yeah, it dries quick and it air dries really well, but the gloss isn't great on it and stuff like that. And but that's sort of moved on now as well. You know, you don't really see it on data sheets, but you can find out from googling clear coats and stuff. It's looking at the resin content. So the higher the resin content, the better the gloss is going to be, but the slower the drying is going to be. So I always look for clear coats, you know, that have got a high resin content, and some of them now, you know, some of these quick dry, they've obviously changed chemical recipes and stuff like that, that they're now got higher resin content, so you're getting really good gloss with them. So you're not sacrificing gloss over speed of drying, so you're sort of getting the best of both worlds. You're saving on energy in your booth. You may be able to skip bake cycles. You're getting stuff out the door quicker as well. I can only speak for the clear coats I'm using on this Mipa system at the moment. So the two quick dry ones are CX2 and CX4. CX2 is like a budget clear, and CX4's got more resin in that one, so it's a more of a premium quick dry. And yeah, certain situations work really well. You can do small, big jobs with it. It doesn't matter. The speed of drying doesn't affect the size of job that you're painting. One downside to them is they've got short polish window, so if it's something that's left for a good few days, you know, a bigger job may be left for a few days before you flat and polish it, they do harden right off quite quickly, so they're hard to nib and hard to get polishing marks out. So yeah, you just have to be a bit cautious with some of these quick dry high solid clear coats, that you get them polished in good time. That's the only downside I've found to them. But you can't, I think it's always been a rule of thumb really, is you know, the slower the drying, the better the gloss normally with clear coats. So yeah, it is nicer to use slower drying ones. Definitely get better flat and polishing with them as well. But yeah, back to this CC14. Flat and polishing is fantastic on it. Yeah, week later after a bake, I've polished stuff a week later, you know, and it's flat and polished lovely. Yeah, really nice. The gloss is really good. Yeah, the only thing with it is the milkiness of it, which is quite bizarre. I was a bit dubious about you know, how this clear coat looked, being milky and not being clear, whether it affected colours, you know, on your blend panel, whether it affected colours. But the Mipa rep assured me that they've tested it, they put coat after coat on and didn't have any detrimental effect on colours. which I was a little bit dubious about with maybe silvers, you know, on a blend panel, putting too much on a silver, whether it changed the colour, or, you know, whites maybe. But yeah, I haven't had any issues with that, so the milkiness doesn't affect anything. I can't really say a lot more about it. It's my go-to clear coat now. You know, it's their sort of higher end. I think the Mipa products, are price-wise, a great value. That, you know, they're proper products. They're German. They're independent on their own. They don't make products for anyone else. No other paint systems. They're not sort of spread across different paint systems under other branding. And the price of it, they're mid-range, you know. The type of work I'm doing, we'd all love to have top-end paint brands and use all the best of everything, but yeah, got to try and find a happy medium. And I find, you know, since I've been on this Mipa system, once I ironed out a few issues here and there, which you're going to have with any paint system, the results I'm getting are, yeah, that I'm really enjoying using it and really happy with the results. And I'm seeing stuff, you know, a good while, you know, on. I've got some Mipa on my own car myself that's been painted for over a year, and it hasn't changed at all. They've got the durability, and the product seem to last. So yeah, they're not the cheapest products out there, but they're no way near, you know, the most expensive products out there. Really, I think Mipa should be giving me something for me picking up their products. But no, if I think something works, then I'm just going to say it regardless. And yeah, like I say, they're budget friendly, really. That they're not extortionate prices for their products, and you know, you're going to get good long lasting results with their products. So yeah, I'm really enjoying using a lot of their products, and you know, this clear coat now was really sort of helped me with, you know, we all have certain areas and issues with stuff that we paint that we'd like to address. One of my issues has always been getting build-ups and stuff like that. So this product, you know, it's obviously an issue in the industry. That's why this product's been developed, because people have issues with wanting to get higher film builds on and getting build-ups and runs and stuff like that. So it's been designed because there's a problem. If there's a problem, stuff gets manufactured to eliminate that problem, and that's what this product does. It takes another issue that some people may be having, like say with getting runs and solvent popping and stuff like that. So that's, you know, that's took another issue that I may have been experiencing. It's sort of it's a helpful product. It's helped me, and yeah, and it's a quality product. You know, pricing wise of this clear coat for a kit, so 5 litres of clear coat and a 2.5 litre of harness, so it gives you 7.5 litres. It's with VAT, it's around the £200 mark, maybe a bit over. The hardeners are expensive. Hardeners, I find sometimes are the same price, you know, nearly the same price as maybe the clear coat or the top coat that you're using. So to get a hardener with it, if you buy it as a kit, I think it's pretty reasonable, around the £200 mark. And they've got products to suit all budgets. Like I say, they've got the Mipa CX2, which is a quick dry sort of budget clear, and that's around the £100 mark with a hardener, and it's the same hardener that goes in all their other clear coats. So yeah, highly recommend this clear coat, especially if you're the type of painter like me that can get runs easily. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. I always think I haven't got enough things to say, and then I run out of footage. I had a couple of I had some dirt issues on this job, just on that door. A few, yeah, quite bad bits of shit in it, really. So I was going to put it on the end of this video, but I'm going to make a separate video with just showing some polishing and a few different combinations of polishing on this job, and show you what this clear coat polish is like as well. So yeah, look out for that video. It'll be coming soon, hopefully. Yeah, again, thanks for watching, really appreciate everyone watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again in the next one. Look after yourselves. Cheers.